Well, the past couple years, I've been really trying to keep my mind open and try new experiences and maybe games I wouldn't have given a chance in the past, or games I just missed out on when I was younger because I was playing something else. My backlog is getting bigger and bigger, full of games. And I finally got to the Final Fantasy series. And when I say I got into it, when I get into a series, I'm into it, bro. I want to know what the best one is. You know, what's the best way to play it. So I'm getting the optimal experience possible. So I looked up what's the best Final Fantasy, and of course, Final Fantasy X is always ranked like top 3 out of all the Final Fantasies. Fans rave about how good the story is. Like, all right, Final Fantasy X it is. I bought a PS3. I got the copy of the 10 and 10.2 HD remake. I heard the PC port is pretty good as well, but this is the one that I just have. So that's the one I played. I kind of wanted to play it on a console just for the fact I want to like sit back on a couch and kind of enjoy it. Especially if I'm going to be putting a lot of hours into it, I kind of just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy the experience. So there's a reason I never really got into these games. Before I started playing, I had like a preconceived notion of how the game was going to be. I always thought of it being like a really huge, epic tale with lots of skills and party members to micromanage, super hard boss fights that take forever. So I was a little bit scared going into like, you know, my first serious Final Fantasy game that fans adore. It even says on the back of the box right here, it says one of the most celebrated RPGs of its generation. All right, that's a big claim. So I was scared but excited. And that was 2 months ago. Here I am now in the present. Already played a lot of hours of this. To tell you, I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it. But it's not for the lack of an open mind, and I don't want to come on here as some newbie, like outsider coming into like a Final Fantasy space to tell everyone that their games suck. Quite the contrary, I can tell this game has a lot of charm and a lot of things I loved about it. Like the whole premise and story I loved. Helping Summoner Yuna on her long pilgrimage across strange and new lands for the final Aeon to save Spira from sin. It really felt like a long road trip with friends. And I love that kind of vibe. Not to mention the locations you visit is just like a work of art. I don't think there was one place that I did not enjoy the look of, especially the far plane. Oh my God. The art in this game is just, I love it, especially the locales, the locations. But that's where we run into some problems. I wanted to explore all there was to explore in these beautiful locations, but it's really hard to do that when there's so many random encounters, bro. I'm talking every 3 or 5 steps, a random encounter, a random encounter, a random encounter. I just want to explore, find chests, and just take in the surrounding environments because they're beautiful. Can I just do that? Instead, I'm constantly getting interrupted, and it makes me not want to explore. Halfway through the game, I ended up just, you know, I just run from area to area, straight beeline. And I understand a lot of JRPGs are like this, so it's more of a me problem. Yeah, it was just really hard for me to enjoy anything with all the random encounters. So far, that's kind of my own thing. It's kind of like a personal preference. It's not really the game's fault. But this next point is 100% the game, dude. The writing. What's up with the writing? I couldn't connect to any of the characters. I don't understand. Their reactions to situations were so odd and out of place. It was just taking me out of the experience. And I don't mind like a game that's silly or characters that like joke around a lot, but it would be like a serious, you could tell that the game was making this a serious moment in the cutscene. The music was ramping up. There was like some emotional thing happening. And then the way the characters talk and just react to situations was like, I would laugh. It turned into a comedy for me. Just look at how Tidus reacts to seeing his father after all that's happened. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say this whole game has led up to this moment. This is a big moment.
Hey. Ha!
It's like the voice actors were given the script without any context. So it's not even really the writing, it's how the lines are delivered. And I know a lot of these voice actors can act because Tidus's voice actor goes on to do Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars TV show.
Well, that was easy.
I could not get into it. And I know the laughing scene in this game has become like a meme. That was like the least worst offender for me. That was fine. When I saw everything else, I completely forgot about the laughing scene because the rest, like a lot of the dialogue after that was just like, what? What? I think that was my main problem with the game because I love the story. I loved it so much. All right, well, I'll let you know now. I didn't finish the game. I stopped at the Thunder Plains because the random encounters paired with the fucking lightning that I couldn't dodge, I couldn't get the timing right to dodge it, was just, it was my breaking point. All right, it was just my breaking point. Laugh at me if you want, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. But this goes to show how much I was wanting to like the game. I didn't just throw out the game and was like, I'm done with it. I liked the story. I was into the story. So I went on YouTube and looked up a like Final Fantasy X the movie, where it just shows like all the relevant information and all the cutscenes. And I watched that just to get the story, because I was into the story and I wanted to know what happened with Sin and Tidus, is that how you say his name? Tidus, his father, and all this other stuff. And there was some good parts in the game, like some good twists with Yevon and Seymour. And there's some twists. There's some good twists. All right, there's some real good twists. I felt like if this game had a treatment like Final Fantasy VII Remake did, that fixes a lot of the writing and a lot of the random encounters and just make it more action-based, I would have liked it a lot more. Well, it doesn't even have to be action-based, actually. There's better ways to do random encounters. And I'll show you a game that I love that has random encounters. Now, when I said that I was diving deep into JRPGs, I did mean it. I also picked up Ni no Kuni, and this game does random encounters so well. The story isn't as deep as Final Fantasy X or anything like that. It's just a fun little story, him trying to save his mom. But I'll tell you right now, dude, the random encounters is fun. You can actually see the enemies on the overworld map, and you can avoid them if you want. I think this game did random encounters way better. Just let me see the enemies on the overworld, please. Or have designated areas where they spawn. Pokemon did that. If you don't want to have random encounters with Pokemon, don't go into bushes or caves. That's it. All right. Everywhere else is all right. Just give me some idea where the monsters are so I can avoid them. So yeah, that was my experience. I hope I didn't come off as like I'm a hater or anything like that, because I still enjoyed a lot of the game. The random encounters all the time and the kind of dialogue that made me not connect with the characters was really took me out of it. But that is not my Final Fantasy, all right? Because I'm still going deep. I'm determined to find a Final Fantasy game that I'll enjoy, all right? I heard the combat in these are a little bit more my pace. I feel like the games I like are the games that probably the Final Fantasy purists won't like. So, sorry about that, I guess. But that's why every game's different, right? They always are trying new things. I heard Final Fantasy 16 really didn't get along with fans that much. But, all right. That was my experience. I'll keep you updated, maybe. I don't know, when I play the other Final Fantasies. Peace.